Hey everybody, it's Julie. Thanks for joining me here for some journaling. I'm using the June Faith Art collection from Creative Retreat Kits called Kinsman Redeemer, and actually I can't find the devotional at the moment. It is somewhere. I am going to be journaling actually in my faith journal. So this is an Archer and Olive notebook. This is a B5 size, so it's nice and big. I'm going to be using some of the stamps, the Faith Art box, the physical kit, the stickers, and some of the Faith-filled digitals. What I'm going to do here is use some of these journaling cards, Jesus Christ, Restorer of Life, and then this blessed. I'm going to type the verse here and do some little bit of decorating, but I wanted to have a place where I can write my story, because what I'm focusing on here is how my story has been restored. Just like the story of Naomi, just like the story of Ruth, they were restored, and their story became a story of restoration, a story of redemption, and that is our story. And that's also my story. And I think it's really helpful to have articulated my faith story, just kind of my testimony, a place where I can write it down so that when I am given the opportunity to share that story, I have it here. I can the practice of writing out will help me when it's time to articulate that. So I'm going to journal some things in here in this faith journal, and we'll get started here. Okay, so I've typed this verse out and I'm rounding the edges with my corner punch, but let me read the verse that I'm focusing on. It's Ruth chapter 4 verses 14 and 15, and it says, "Then the women said to Naomi, 'Blessed is the Lord who has not left you this day without a redeemer, and may his name become famous in Israel. May he also be to you a restorer of life and a sustainer of your old age, for your daughter-in-law who loves you and is better to you than 7 sons has given birth to him.'" So that part, blessed is the Lord who has not left you without a redeemer today. May his name become famous in Israel. May he also be to you a restorer of life. Now I'll talk about the passage a little bit more in a moment. Let me just tell you what I'm doing on screen here. I've cut out some of the faith-filled digitals. This that I cut into 4 strips was one of the pattern swatches, which comes from the faith-filled digitals. And I'm just going to place some stickers, I'm going to do some stamping, and I want to give myself a lot of room here to write. So I'm going to use a couple of these journaling cards, and you're just going to see me now fidget with my placement of all the elements. So let me go back to this verse. Naomi is the speaker here. Actually, it's the women in the community speaking to Naomi. This is after her life has been restored. So the whole book is about Ruth. Ruth is kind of the vehicle for it. She is the bride, and we are the bride. But Naomi actually is where this starts. And Naomi is married to Elimelech, and Elimelech takes his family out of the land of Judah and out of Bethlehem into a foreign land, looking for things better, looking for a better life. Now, Judah actually means, the word Judah means praise. God is to be praised. And Bethlehem means house of bread. So Elimelech takes his family out of the house of bread, where God is to be praised, into Moab, a foreign land, a heathen land, where God is not worshipped. So this represents us, the believers who have fallen away. We are raised in the family, we're raised in the church, we have fallen away for some reason or another. We've chosen the wrong path for some reason or another. And this was my life. I was raised in a Christian home, but I fell away, especially during my school years and my college years. But I came back. God pursued me. God redeemed me through his son Jesus and restored my story. Now, Ruth was born a Moabite. So she represents those who have not been raised in the church, who have not had the story of Jesus, the gospel presented to them throughout their lives. But she chooses, she makes that life her choice. She chose to follow Naomi after Naomi's husband and her sons all die, and we've got these 3 widows that are destitute: Naomi, Ruth, and Orpah, the wife of another son. They're all left destitute because in this society they have no land, they have no name, they have no way to support themselves. So Naomi takes them back into Jerusalem, back into Judah, back into Bethlehem, and Ruth decides to stay with her, but Orpah goes back home to live with her people. And it's here when Naomi comes back into Judah, into the land of Bethlehem, she does have land that was owned by Elimelech, but she needs someone to redeem it so that it can be hers. It's just like us. We have an inheritance. We have a future, but we can't claim it without our Redeemer. So Jesus has made it possible for all of us. He has saved all of us, but unless we choose to make him our Redeemer, unless we accept that redemption, it's not ours. We can't experience that. So when Boaz purchases, if you will, the land, and in so doing, he redeems Naomi, and because Naomi is Ruth's daughter-in-law, then he also acquires, if you will, he redeems Ruth. So we are redeemed by Jesus. And this story of Naomi, because the story really is about Naomi, even though Ruth is the heroine here. But the story ends with Naomi saying, with Naomi being blessed by this Redeemer and having a child through Ruth, through Boaz. And then finally, it says in verses 18 through 22, it gives the heritage. It goes from Naomi to Ruth and Boaz, and they have the son Obed, and then it traces the generations down to David. So here at the end, it's showing how they have received that inheritance. They have received that name, that land, that legacy. Again, that inheritance, and we have that inheritance. Okay, so I got a little deep there. I'm sorry about that, but it's just so beautiful how he has redeemed our story. So here I am again on screen. I've placed my elements. My title there says, "My life and my story are restored by Jesus Christ." And I have the verse typed on the journaling card, and I have the journaling card, "Jesus Christ, Restorer of Life." I have stamped my date on one of the labels. I stamped the words "my story" on that little label, so that now I have all this space to do my journaling. And that's pretty much it. You just see me fiddling here. So here I've got the yellow Tombow dual brush marker, and I'm just giving it a little bit of a shadow, kind of a drop shadow on the right side of the letters that were stamped to make them just blend a little bit, give them some depth. And I'm going to do the same thing with a pink pen over on the word "my story" on the right, but it's too pink. So I come back in with my white gel pen and tone that down. A white gel pen is so awesome. If you don't have a white gel pen, then you need to get one. You don't know how you ever lived without one. And now I am writing out kind of my testimony, kind of, my faith journey. And it's wonderful to be able to articulate that. It's a very powerful exercise. So I recommend you doing that. I also, you can see I added some of the word Fetty stickers in there just to break it up a bit and to give it a little bit more of a decorative element. And here are some still shots. I really appreciate you hanging out with me here. If you have any comments or questions, leave them in the comments section. Subscribe to this channel if you haven't already. Thanks so much, and God bless. Bye-bye.